Noah slid a tray of cinnamon rolls into the baking oven, then wiped his sticky hands on his dirtier-than-dirty respect-the-beard apron. On the other side of the prep table, Jordan pitched his much more respectable, though no less dirty, blue plate-branded apron into the under-counter basket. "First class this morning?" Noah asked. "First to the last," the HU senior grinned. "Mostly just business school prereqs and working on my honors thesis at this point." "Better get going then." Finance classes were in Paxton Hall at the opposite end of Hanover University's campus from where Blue Plate was, next to Pearl's on Main Street. "Thanks for the hustle today." "Always. Felt good to have a crowd again." Jordan smiled wider as he slung his backpack over his shoulder. "Felt real good to get out of the office and back in here." He'd split his time over the summer between the kitchen and working in the office with Candace, learning how the business part of the operation worked. But first and foremost, the kid loved to cook. "Do it again tomorrow," he said with a slap to the prep table on his way out the door. In his wake, Noah peeked out the Oculus window, checking to see how much of the crowd remained. Several booths were occupied, most of the tables by the front windows and all the counter stools. But there was no line at the takeout register, and there were no tickets waiting on the kitchen display system. A relative slowdown, at least until the lunch rush began at the end of the next class period. The first Monday of fall semester was no joke. They'd slung out more plates that morning than they had the past few months. And what a bountiful bunch of dishes they'd been. The late summer giving them so much to work with, like today's Blue Plate special, a farmer's market frittata, farm-fresh eggs, heirloom tomatoes, and herbs with a side of dandelion greens dressed in a summer citrus vinaigrette. The rest of the menu didn't stray far from cafe and diner favorites, but even those Noah liked to spruce up. French toast with mixed berries, scratch-made biscuits with seasonal jams, sheep's milk yogurt and homemade granola, an omelet with colorful heirloom tomato slices. Noah eyed the half-crate of tomatoes he had left and calculated portions in his head. Just enough for tomato flatbreads for tomorrow. Overnight marinated mozzarella would add a nice touch. He was running through other Blue Plate ideas for the week, head in a fridge checking for ingredients when the kitchen door swung open again. He didn't have to look to know who the easygoing tread and slap of flip-flops belonged to. 3 years ago, Candace had taken a chance on him, despite his checkered job history. He didn't stay in one place more than a few years. Safer that way. Not every employer was willing to overlook the long string of jobs and addresses despite his good references. Candace hadn't had time to question. She'd just lost her cook a week before fall semester began, and she was desperate. His chili recipe was convincing enough. Hands down, she'd been the best boss he'd ever worked for, letting him stretch his wings and the diner budget with more farm-to-table items. The diner's popularity had also grown as a result, making it one of the handful of local places that held its own against the national chains moving into town. He hoped Candace and Jordan would carry on the trend after he left. Which he needed to do. Soon. He'd already stayed in Hanover too long, and he was getting too comfortable.